Dark Link waits in the Water Temple, a shadowy reflection of the hero himself. But what if there was another dark version of Link hidden in Ocarina of Time's code, a truly evil Link that Nintendo desperately tried to erase? For over 2 decades, players have whispered about glitches, strange behaviors, and corrupted save files that hint at something sinister lurking beneath the surface. The truth behind the evil Link theory will shock even the most dedicated Zelda fans, and it all starts with a ROM hack that convinced thousands of players they discovered Nintendo's darkest secret. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time released in November 1998, revolutionizing gaming with its groundbreaking 3D gameplay, time travel mechanics, and epic storytelling. Nintendo crafted a masterpiece that defined an entire generation of gamers. But like all legendary games, Ocarina of Time spawned countless mysteries, hidden secrets, and unexplained phenomena that kept players searching for answers long after the credits rolled. Some mysteries were real, the Triforce hidden in the game's code but inaccessible through normal gameplay. Some were urban legends, the supposedly haunted Majora's Mask cartridge that inspired the Ben Drowned creepypasta. And some existed in that strange space between reality and fiction, where ROM hacks, glitches, and player imagination collided to create something entirely new. The evil Link theory belongs to this third category. Unlike Dark Link, the official shadow clone that appears in the Water Temple as a mini-boss, evil Link supposedly represented something far more sinister, a corrupted version of the hero himself, hiding in the game's code, waiting to emerge under specific circumstances. But where did this theory come from? And more importantly, is there any truth to it? The story begins with Ocarina of Time's well-documented glitches and unusual behaviors. The Nintendo 64 pushed technological boundaries, but it also introduced new opportunities for games to break in spectacular ways. Players discovered sequence breaks, wrong warps, and collision detection failures that let Link access areas he shouldn't reach. The infamous Get Item Manipulation glitch allowed players to obtain items in completely wrong orders. The Bottle Adventure exploit let players duplicate items and even capture fairies in ways Nintendo never intended. These glitches fascinated the community. Each discovery suggested that beneath Ocarina of Time's polished surface lurked a complex web of interconnected systems that could be manipulated, exploited, and broken. And when games break, strange things happen. Link's model might T-pose awkwardly, textures could glitch and distort, the game might freeze or display corrupted graphics. To most players, these were just bugs, amusing quirks in an otherwise excellent game. But to theorists, every glitch represented a potential clue. What if these weren't random errors? What if some of these strange behaviors pointed towards removed content? After all, game development involves countless iterations, discarded ideas, and features that get cut before release. The gaming industry has numerous examples of scrapped content that remains partially present in a game's code. Unused character models, inaccessible areas, deleted dialogue, and abandoned gameplay mechanics. Ocarina of Time itself contains verified examples of cut content. The original Triforce Gathering quest that would have extended the game significantly got removed during development. The R-Wing from Star Fox that can be spawned through specific codes wasn't meant to be accessible to players. Beta versions contained different character models, alternative dungeon layouts, and dialogue that changed before the final release. This confirmed that Ocarina of Time's development involved substantial cuts and modifications. In this environment of legitimate discovery, where players routinely found real hidden content and developers confirmed that significant features had been removed, the evil Link theory found fertile ground. The theory proposed that Nintendo had originally planned a darker storyline where Link himself could become corrupted, possibly through the influence of Ganondorf or the Sacred Realm's transformation into the Dark World. This corrupted Link, evil Link, would supposedly feature altered dialogue, aggressive behavior towards NPCs, and a twisted version of the hero's quest. According to various iterations of the theory, evil Link could be triggered through specific actions, completing certain quests in the wrong order, collecting all the gold Skulltulas before finishing particular temples, or even playing the Ocarina songs in reverse. Different versions of the theory proposed different activation methods, which should have been the first red flag. Real game secrets have consistent, reproducible activation requirements. When a theory requires constantly shifting goalposts, it's usually because the original claim couldn't be verified. But the theory gained serious traction when ROM hackers entered the picture. ROM hacking, the practice of modifying game code to create new experiences, fix bugs, or add content, became increasingly popular in the early 2000s as tools improved and communities formed around modifying classic games. Talented hobbyists created incredible projects, from simple texture swaps to complete overhauls that transformed games into entirely new experiences. One particular ROM hack, created in the mid-2000s, claimed to unlock Evil Link by restoring supposedly deleted content from Ocarina of Time's code. The hack's creator presented it as an archaeological restoration, arguing that they'd found remnants of Evil Link hidden in unused memory addresses and reconstructed the missing character from these fragments. The presentation was convincing. Screenshots showed Link with darkened colors, red eyes, and inverted Triforce symbols. Videos demonstrated altered cutscenes where this evil Link attacked NPCs and caused destruction throughout Hyrule. The ROM hack spread through forums, file-sharing sites, and early YouTube channels. Thousands of players downloaded it, loaded it onto their emulators or flash carts, and experienced Evil Link firsthand. And here's where things get fascinating. Many players genuinely believed they were experiencing restored Nintendo content rather than fan-created modifications. The hack's creator maintained the fiction that this was merely unlocking what Nintendo had hidden, not creating something new. Let's examine what this ROM hack actually contained. Upon starting a new game, everything seemed normal at first. Link awakened in Kokiri Forest, received his fairy companion Navi, and began the familiar journey. But subtle differences appeared quickly. The music had slight distortions, minor key variations that created an unsettling atmosphere. NPC dialogue contained darker undertones, hinting at corruption spreading through Hyrule even before Ganondorf's rise to power. The major changes occurred after Link pulled the Master Sword and jumped 7 years into the future. Instead of awakening as the adult hero destined to save Hyrule, this version of Link emerged different. His tunic appeared darker, almost gray instead of green. His eyes glowed with a faint red tint, and most dramatically, his behavior toward NPCs shifted from heroic to aggressive. The ROM hack included modified cutscenes where Evil Link attacked guards, destroyed property, and pursued goals that contradicted the original game's heroic narrative. Instead of collecting the medallions to seal Ganondorf, this version of Link seemed to seek power for himself. The hack even included altered boss battles where Link could choose to ally with certain enemies or betray characters who trusted him. From a technical perspective, the hack demonstrated impressive skill. The creator modified character models, edited cutscene triggers, rewrote dialogue strings, and even composed new music variations. For players unfamiliar with ROM hacking's capabilities, these modifications could easily seem like professional-grade content that might have been created by Nintendo's development team. The presentation maintained consistent quality throughout, avoiding the obvious amateur mistakes that would immediately reveal it as fan-made. But here's the critical question. Was any of this based on real cut content from Ocarina of Time's development? The answer is definitively no. Nintendo has never indicated that Evil Link existed in any form during the game's creation. Developer interviews, design documents, and official statements about Ocarina of Time's development process contain zero references to a corrupted protagonist storyline. The Hyrule Historia, published in 2011 as an official companion book celebrating the Legend of Zelda's 25th anniversary, provides extensive documentation of Ocarina of Time's development. It includes concept art, early character designs, and even discussions of features that were planned but ultimately cut. The book mentions the removed Triforce quest, discusses alternative dungeon concepts, and even reveals early story ideas that didn't make the final game. But Evil Link? Not a single mention. Furthermore, data miners, dedicated individuals who extract and analyze every byte of a game's code, have thoroughly examined Ocarina of Time across all its versions. They found unused text strings, inaccessible map areas, and remnants of deleted content, but they've never discovered evidence suggesting Evil Link existed in any development phase.
No unused character models matching the description, no dialogue trees for a corrupted protagonist, no cutscene triggers that would indicate alternative story paths. The Dark Link fight in the Water Temple represents the only canonical dark version of the hero in Ocarina of Time. This enemy appears as a shadowy reflection, testing Link's skills in combat. But Dark Link functions as a mini-boss, not an alternative protagonist. The character has no dialogue, no storyline, and no connection to any corruption mechanics.
It's simply a challenging enemy encounter that showcases Nintendo's creativity and boss design. So, if Evil Link never existed in Nintendo's development process, why does the theory persist? Why do players continue discussing it decades after the ROM hack's creation? The answer reveals something fascinating about gaming culture, fan creativity, and the power of collaborative fiction. First, consider the appeal of dark protagonist narratives. Stories about heroes who fall to corruption, who face their own capacity for evil, who struggle with moral choices. These narratives resonate deeply with audiences. From Star Wars' Anakin Skywalker to countless other examples, the fallen hero archetype captivates because it explores the thin line between heroism and villainy. A game that let players experience Link's corruption would tackle mature themes that Nintendo typically avoids in Zelda games. Second, Ocarina of Time's narrative structure already hints at darker possibilities. The sacred realm becomes corrupted by Ganondorf's evil heart, transforming into the Dark World. Link's 7-year sleep results in Hyrule falling to darkness. The game shows that corruption spreads, that evil influences transform pure things into twisted versions. The foundation exists for imagining Link himself succumbing to similar corruption. The ROM hack simply built on these established narrative elements. Third, ROM hacks had already proven that fan creators could produce content that rivaled or even exceeded official quality. Master Quest, originally created by Nintendo as an alternative version of Ocarina of Time with redesigned dungeons, demonstrated that the game's engine could support substantial modifications. When talented ROM hackers created similar quality modifications, the line between official and fan-made content blurred for casual observers. Fourth, internet culture in the 2000s operated differently than today. Information verification was harder, official sources were less accessible, gaming wikis were less comprehensive. A convincing claim presented with professional-looking screenshots and videos could spread widely before anyone debunked it. The Evil Link ROM hack benefited from this information environment, gaining acceptance before critical analysis could catch up. The ROM hack's creator deserves credit for an elaborate creative project, even while acknowledging the deception involved in presenting it as restored Nintendo content. From a pure game design perspective, the Evil Link modifications showcased impressive technical skill and creative vision. The hack told a coherent alternative story, maintained consistent quality throughout, and created a genuinely different experience from the original game. But presenting fan fiction as hidden truth crosses an ethical line. Players deserve to know when they're experiencing official content versus fan modifications. The deception undermined informed consent. People playing the hack believed they were experiencing Nintendo's vision rather than a fan's reinterpretation. This matters because it affects how players interpret the content, what conclusions they draw about the original game, and how they discuss Zelda lore with other fans. The confusion created by this deception still persists. Even today, some players encounter references to Evil Link and wonder if there's truth to the theory. Forum posts continue asking whether specific glitches might trigger the corrupted protagonist. The ROM hack's legacy includes ongoing misinformation that requires constant correction by knowledgeable community members. This phenomenon isn't unique to Zelda. Gaming culture has numerous examples of elaborate hoaxes, convincing fake leaks, and fan creations presented as official content. The Sonic Adventure Garden rumor, the Triforce and Ocarina of Time hoax before it was verified as inaccessible cut content, the various fake Pokémon that circulated before new generations released. Each case follows similar patterns:
plausible premise, convincing presentation, spreading through communities before verification becomes possible. What separates legitimate discovery from elaborate fiction? Several factors help distinguish real secrets from creative hoaxes. First, reproducibility. Real secrets can be consistently activated using documented steps. The evil link theory constantly shifted its supposed activation method because no legitimate trigger existed. Second, data mining confirmation. Modern tools can extract and analyze every asset in a game's code. Real hidden content leaves traces in the data. Third, developer acknowledgement. While developers don't always comment on every secret, major cut content usually gets mentioned in interviews or official publications eventually. The Evil Link ROM hack fails all three tests. Its activation requires downloading modified game files rather than performing in-game actions. Data mining reveals no supporting evidence in Ocarina of Time's original code. Nintendo has never acknowledged Evil Link's existence in any official capacity.
These facts definitively establish Evil Link as fan creation rather than hidden Nintendo content. But does this diminish the ROM hack's value? Not necessarily. Recognizing something as fan-made doesn't erase its creative merit. Thousands of ROM hacks exist across countless games, offering new experiences, alternative storylines, and innovative gameplay modifications. These projects represent legitimate artistic expression, transforming existing games into new adventures. The gaming community benefits from this creativity. The problem isn't ROM hacking itself, it's misrepresentation. When creators honestly label their work as modifications, players can enjoy them as intended. ROM hacks like Zelda Parallel Worlds, Master Quest, and countless others provide entertainment while maintaining transparency about their fan-made origins. Players experiencing these hacks understand they're enjoying community creations rather than official Nintendo content. The Evil Link hack would have been celebrated as an impressive creative project if presented honestly. Instead, the deception created confusion, spread misinformation, and ultimately damaged the creator's credibility once the truth emerged. The lesson applies broadly. Transparency builds trust, while deception undermines it, regardless of the quality of the underlying work. Modern ROM hacking communities have largely learned this lesson. Contemporary projects typically include clear disclaimers identifying themselves as fan modifications. Creators showcase their work as artistic reinterpretations rather than discovered secrets. This honesty allows everyone to appreciate ROM hacks for what they are, creative expressions that extend beloved games' lifespans while respecting the distinction between official and fan-made content. The Evil Link theory also highlights broader questions about game preservation and lost content. Legitimate cut content does exist in many games. Developers routinely remove features, characters, and entire gameplay systems during development. Sometimes this content remains partially accessible through glitches or codes. Other times it's completely deleted, known only through development documents or developer testimony. Ocarina of Time contains verified examples of such content. The Unicorn Fountain, an area accessible through specific glitches, appears to be a remnant of cut content. Beta screenshots showed different designs for certain areas that changed before release. Early gameplay footage reveals mechanics that were refined or removed. This confirmed cut content demonstrates that speculation about removed features isn't inherently unreasonable. The difference between reasonable speculation and the Evil Link theory lies in evidence. Data miners can point to specific code, textures, or map data supporting claims about legitimate cut content. The Unicorn Fountain exists in the game's map data, even though players can't normally access it. The R-Wings model is present in the code. These aren't theories, they're documented facts. Evil Link, by contrast, has zero supporting evidence in Ocarina of Time's actual code. The entire concept originates from the ROM hack, working backward from fan creation to invent a fictional development history. This represents fundamentally different methodology: discovery versus invention, archaeology versus fiction.
Gaming mysteries deserve investigation. When players notice unusual behaviors, unexplained elements, or suspicious gaps in a game's content, asking questions makes sense. The gaming community has successfully uncovered numerous legitimate secrets through persistent investigation. But investigation requires distinguishing between evidence and imagination, between documented facts and appealing fiction. The evil link theory's persistence, despite contradictory evidence, reveals something important about human psychology. People want mysterious secrets to exist. The idea that a beloved game might contain hidden depths, that careful investigation might reveal shocking truths, appeals to the explorer in every gamer. This desire isn't harmful. It drives discovery, encourages thorough gameplay, and enriches gaming experiences. But desire for mystery must be balanced with respect for evidence. When investigation reveals that a theory lacks foundation, accepting that conclusion demonstrates intellectual honesty. The evil link theory has been thoroughly debunked through data mining, official statements, and simple logical analysis. Continuing to promote it as potentially true despite overwhelming contradictory evidence moves from healthy skepticism into denialism. Some might argue that believing an evil link harms nobody, that letting people enjoy their theories seems harmless. But misinformation does cause real problems. New players might waste hours trying to trigger a non-existent event. Discussions about Ocarina of Time's actual content get derailed by arguments about fictional additions. Resources get dedicated to debunking false claims rather than exploring legitimate mysteries.
Truth matters, even in gaming discussions. This doesn't mean gaming communities should become joyless fact-checking exercises. Room exists for speculation, for creative interpretation, for enjoying fan fiction and ROM hacks. But these activities work best when participants understand what they're engaging with. Clearly labeling speculation as theory, fan content as modification, and verified facts as documented truth allows everyone to participate meaningfully. The evil link ROM hack could have been, and still could be, appreciated as impressive fan work. The technical skill involved in creating comprehensive character modifications, altering story progression, and maintaining consistent quality throughout deserves recognition. ROM hacking requires deep understanding of game code, creative vision to design alternative content, and dedication to implement those designs effectively. Viewed as fan creation, Evil Link represents an interesting exploration of what-if scenarios. What if Link succumbed to corruption? What if the hero's journey took darker turns? What if players could experience a morally ambiguous protagonist in Hyrule? These questions inspire creative responses, and the Evil Link ROM hack provides one such response. That's valuable as artistic expression. The problem arose from claiming this fan exploration represented Nintendo's hidden vision. That claim disrespects both Nintendo's actual creative choices and players' right to informed consent about what they're experiencing. It transforms impressive fan art into elaborate deception, and deception ultimately serves nobody's interests. Looking forward, what lessons can the gaming community learn from the evil link theory? First, demand evidence for extraordinary claims. When someone claims to have discovered major hidden content in a well-studied game, ask for reproducible steps, data mining confirmation, or official acknowledgement. Healthy skepticism protects against misinformation while still allowing legitimate discoveries to be recognized. Second, celebrate fan creativity honestly. ROM hacks, fan theories, and creative reinterpretations enrich gaming culture, but they work best when clearly labeled as fan contributions rather than disguised as official content. Transparency elevates rather than diminishes these creative works. Third, distinguish between different types of mysteries. Some gaming mysteries remain genuinely unsolved. The identity of Gigas in Earthbound, the full meaning of Shadow of the Colossus's ending, the complete timeline placement of certain Zelda games before official clarification. These mysteries invite legitimate investigation because evidence remains incomplete. Other mysteries have been conclusively solved through data mining, official statements, or comprehensive analysis. The evil link theory belongs to this category. Treating solved mysteries as ongoing debates wastes community resources and spreads confusion. Fourth, appreciate games for what they are, rather than mourning what they're not. Ocarina of Time doesn't need Evil Link to be extraordinary. The game's actual content, its innovative gameplay, epic story, memorable characters, and lasting influence speaks for itself. Inventing fictional additions suggests the real game somehow falls short, when in fact, Ocarina of Time's confirmed content provides more than enough depth to justify its legendary status. The canonical Dark Link fight demonstrates Nintendo's ability to incorporate dark reflections when it serves the narrative. The Aqua Temple encounter tests Link's skills against an enemy who perfectly mirrors his movements. This creative boss design showcases Nintendo's innovation without requiring elaborate corruption storylines. Sometimes simple elegance surpasses complex alternatives. Ocarina of Time's influence on gaming extends far beyond its original content. The game established conventions that shaped action-adventure design for decades. Z-targeting revolutionized 3D combat. The Ocarina's musical puzzles created memorable gameplay moments. The time travel narrative structure influenced countless subsequent games. These verified achievements matter more than fictional additions. The ROM hacking community has created incredible Ocarina of Time modifications that honestly present themselves as fan projects. Ocarina of Time Master Quest offered redesigned dungeons. Various texture packs updated the game's graphics. Randomizer mods create unpredictable playthroughs. These projects extend Ocarina of Time's life while respecting the boundary between official and fan content. Evil Link could join these honest modifications. Reframed as what-if fan fiction rather than discovered secret, the ROM hack becomes one of many creative reinterpretations. Players could enjoy experiencing a darker Link storyline while understanding they're engaging with fan imagination rather than Nintendo's vision. This honest framing benefits everyone. The theory's exposure also demonstrates the gaming community's capacity for self-correction. While the Evil Link ROM hack initially spread widely, dedicated community members eventually documented the truth. Data miners provided evidence. Knowledgeable fans shared accurate information. Gaming wikis included clarifications distinguishing the ROM hack from official content. Truth eventually emerged despite initial confusion. This self-correction proves that gaming communities can maintain standards while remaining open to discovery. The same passionate investigation that initially spread the Evil Link theory eventually debunked it. The community's enthusiasm for uncovering secrets when directed toward evidence-based analysis becomes its greatest strength. Future gaming mysteries will inevitably emerge. New glitches will be discovered. Data miners will find unused assets. Developers will reveal cut content in interviews. The gaming community's investigative spirit will continue uncovering legitimate secrets, but the Evil Link theory serves as a cautionary tale. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and appealing fiction shouldn't be confused with hidden fact. Ocarina of Time's real mysteries remain fascinating enough without invented additions. Why did Nintendo cut the Triforce quest? What other features were considered but abandoned? How did development priorities shift during the game's creation? These questions about documented history provide genuine investigation opportunities without requiring fictional premises. The game's influence on subsequent Zelda titles also offers rich analysis. How did Ocarina of Time's success shape Majora's Mask's development? What elements became series standards versus one-time experiments? How did later games reference or build upon Ocarina's foundation? These connections reveal Nintendo's evolving design philosophy across decades. Evil Link represents what happens when creative speculation becomes untethered from evidence. The theory started from reasonable premises. Games contain cut content. Glitches might indicate removed features. Dark protagonist narratives appeal to audiences. But lacking any supporting evidence, the theory should have remained acknowledged speculation rather than presented as discovered fact. The ROM hack itself, divorced from false claims about its origin, stands as impressive fan work.
Someone invested significant time and skill creating an alternative Ocarina of Time experience. That dedication deserves recognition. But recognition should come from honest presentation, not deceptive claims about restoring Nintendo content. Ultimately, the evil Link theory's exposure teaches valuable lessons about evidence, transparency, and the difference between discovery and invention. Gaming mysteries fascinate because they might be real. Once definitively proven false, they transition from mysteries to cautionary tales. The evil Link theory has completed that transition. Its legacy now serves as a reminder about the importance of evidence-based investigation. Players approaching Ocarina of Time today can enjoy the game's actual content without worrying about hidden corruption mechanics. Link's heroic journey proceeds as Nintendo designed it. Dark Link appears in the Water Temple as an official mini-boss, and the various ROM hacks, including the evil Link modification, exist as clearly labeled fan projects rather than disguised secrets. The gaming community benefits from this clarity. Energy previously spent debating false theories can instead focus on legitimate analysis. New players receive accurate information. Fan creators receive appropriate recognition for their work. Everyone wins when truth prevails over misinformation. The evil Link theory, exposed as elaborate ROM hack rather than hidden Nintendo content, ultimately enriches understanding of gaming culture. It demonstrates community passion for discovery, creativity in fan projects, and importance of evidence-based investigation. These lessons apply beyond Zelda, informing how gamers approach mysteries in any title. So the next time someone claims to have discovered shocking hidden content in a beloved classic game, remember the evil Link theory. Ask for evidence, verify claims, appreciate fan creativity while maintaining distinction between official and modified content. These practices protect against misinformation while still celebrating the investigative spirit that makes gaming communities vibrant. Ocarina of Time remains a masterpiece without evil Link. The game's confirmed content provides endless depth for analysis, speedrunning challenges for competition, and nostalgic enjoyment for returning players. And when fans create impressive modifications like the evil Link ROM hack, those projects deserve recognition as creative achievements, just not as Nintendo secrets finally revealed. The truth about evil Link has been exposed, not as Nintendo's hidden darkness, but as the gaming community's creative imagination. And honestly, that's a more interesting story than any fictional corruption mechanic could provide.